Hey guys, how you doing? This is Coffee Chug, and I'm here to launch the next monthly Maker Build Challenge. Now this one, I'm really getting you kind of prepared for an even bigger project that is soon to be launched. And what we're doing here is thinking about a learning space. Now for you, this could be your library, it could be your maker space if you happen to have one, it could be a classroom, any kind of learning space. It could be a place at your house. And so we're going to be taking this concept of how do we create for others, how do we create to develop a space that is welcoming and imaginative and innovative, and using those contexts to create some decoration that can enhance the learning for all. And then these skills can then be applied to creating gifts and crafts for parents and loved ones and other activities. So what we're going to be doing is making a makerspace sign, a classroom sign. Whatever your element is, you can exchange that word and make it happen. So where this is generated, I have lots of examples. I have a whole entire project guide, but your goal is to figure out what kind of skills do you want to establish and use in your space. And so before we even begin to showcase some of the signs that I've been working on and have made for a couple of years ago, a couple things to think about with your sign. Number one, cost. Number two, materials. Number three, the amount of kids. As you're working, well, the first thing you want to do is to come up with a name for your space. Maybe you already have a name, then you can bypass that. If you don't have a name, then it's something for you to think about. How do you get consensus for what this space is going to be called? Because that could really impact the colors, the flavor, the decoration of the sign. And so you can do that through a democratic process of submitting names and voting. Maybe it's just a small student voice group that you rely on to develop that. Maybe it's a school-wide project. That's for you to kind of think about. Once you come up with the name, I mean, that is the most important thing. The second thing then is to think about your space. Think about the size constraints of your sign. If you're making something small, or do you have a huge space? If you have a lot of kids, how do you get all their voices in there so you're not just celebrating the really good ones, but you're celebrating and providing an opportunity for all student voice and agency to be tapped into. So if you have, say, 300 kids, how can you recycle the signs throughout the year, showcasing every month, every couple weeks, new signs so all the kids can see that their work and their voice and their creativity matters. The other thing then is materials. The more kids you have, or the lack of materials, or funding, all these things that we deal with can't be barriers, but we have to be realistic. Some of these projects that I have just wouldn't be scalable to maybe working with 200 or 300 kids, but maybe have a really nice one, and then the other things that kids are doing around maybe are a little bit cheaper. And so don't get caught up in the material so much. These things are just fine using crayons and cotton balls and Q-tips and things like that to create whatever you have, because the more ready material that you're using on a day-to-day basis should be reflective in the sign, right? So as you're trying to think through that, then it's also thinking about tools and things that you want to implement with the kids. So whether you're doing things out of cardboard, or you're cutting wood, or Legos, whatever it is, do you have the skills? What are the skills necessary that kids are going to need to know? Do you need to make sure you're aware of that to teach those skills? So in my case, I have several different examples. I used some with wood, cardboard, Lego. I did some soldering, LED lights. These are just to give you a wide range of examples. And the beauty of this, the beauty of the sign is this. You can come back to it and keep adding to it and sprucing it up as kids are developing new skills throughout the year, or through the progression and continuum of using your makerspace over many years. So for example, I'll put a link in this. This isn't a sign necessarily, but this is just a really simple, easy Lego picture frame. And so you could take this concept and you could scale this out to something much larger. So maybe you have a picture that you could use, or several pictures that you elicit the ideas that you're trying to convey within your workshop. And I have a link for this. It's super easy. Not very big, but you could definitely scale this out to something much larger. This is not really what I wanted to show you. The one thing that I wanted to show you was, several years ago, we used just a regular Lego base plate. So let me go ahead and grab one here real quick. So the first side is just basically a Lego base plate. And this was, I wanted to keep the piece that we created because there was a group of boys who I spent half my career with who were phenomenal, who inspired me to keep working and making through all my years of working with them. And they had a YouTube channel They called themselves the BMS Theory. We built all sorts of crazy robots and did all sorts of things. And this was their original product. We made this piece of the robot that they designed. We did some soldering to a battery pack, and we had this hanging up on the wall for their YouTube channel. And what it did was their eyes would light up. If I can get this going here, I might have knocked out these wires here. Let's see here. There we go. And it would light up. And so we had this picture in this Lego picture frame. So super easy. Kids of any age can build a Lego picture frame. This is just foam board, this is vinyl, but they could color, they could paint, they could cut out, they could glue stuff to this. It's a really easy way to make a sign if you're looking for something of this scale. And it had several base plates. You could do this where maybe you've got, say, the word makerspace, and you have a base plate for each letter, and it's up to them to design in small groups. Like one group of kids is doing the M, the other group of kids is doing the A, the K, you know, and so forth and so on. But for me, I wanted to keep this concept in memory of them. And so what I did was I redesigned, because I don't have the BMS Theory space anymore, I'm not at middle. So I took the foam board concept and I cut vinyl, because I love my vinyl cutter. And I designed this piece so I could keep the frame. I still have their sign in case I ever want to put it back up. Who knows when our paths will cross again. But I made a Coffee for the Brain makerspace sign. So I just used 2 layers of vinyl. I cut in black first and I came back with the pink. And this is what you've seen hanging up in my videos back here, was this. But then I was like, I gotta spruce this up a little bit, right? Like, it's the bowl of coffee guy. Like, you gotta have something more than just a vinyl, even though I think this is pretty sweet. So I have in here another layer. And so this is what I want to show you. This is, as your skills progress, these types of things can happen. And so I wanted to do a quick little journey of, as you learn new skills, your sign can change. And so what I wanted to do then is I wanted to learn how to use acrylic. And so I did acrylic, and I did a vinyl cut of the Coffee for the Brain on plastics. I had to learn how to cut it, and those are all videos coming out soon. But it wasn't enough. It didn't look very good. So then what I did was I added NeoPixel lights and an Arduino. And I have a video tutorial coming on all this. I'm not going to do it here in the video. But now when I put this in, and I plug this bad boy in, I wrote some code to control LED lights. And so I've rigged up an Arduino. It kind of just sits on the side. And now I've got an LED acrylic sign. But this was pretty cool, and I liked it, and I still like it. It's actually what I use in most of my recent videos if you look at the backdrop. But I wanted to take it a step further. And so then I learned more skills, you know, as I'm getting into 3rd and 4th quarter of school, so to speak. So I learned how to rough up acrylic, and then I added a new piece of the optical illusion. And this is pretty sweet. And so I'm just continuing to enhance my skills and learn and develop things. And that's really what the Makerspace sign is all about. And you're going to get a wide variety of different projects from the kids using different products. I mean, cardboard works great, and paint and acrylic paint and that kind of stuff works phenomenal. So while you've got that, but it doesn't have to be that way. I'll show you the final sign because we don't have it done yet, but we were cutting cardboard and using spray paint. We're cutting a nice little circle, and we've got an amazing project happening in another school that I can't wait to share with you here in a little bit of what we've done for their space. I've also included the build instructions. I built this 2 years ago when I had my Coffee Chug Cafe at Bet North Middle School, but I put the guide on the Instructable. I got a link down there, you can check it out. This is just painted wood. We cut out vinyl to make stencils. We did acrylic paint, and then we glued the frame on. And so here's another easy kind of project with just a little bit of paint, using some simple tools of hand saws and so forth to create these kind of things. So could you create a theme and element of keywords of what you want your innovative space to encompass? And so make is obviously one of those words that's really important to me. But we've scaled it out even beyond just this. And so my wife does a lot of this stuff at our house, and one that she's working on in our classroom is this big one. and we kind of created this kind of rainbow type paint, kind of scuffed it up to make it look like it was, you know, kind of antique, and just work hard and be kind of key models to her classroom. And so as we start to design different things, you can see how things start to scale out in our projects. The beauty of this, guys, here's what we want to have happen. I'm going to send you in the link a template. What we really need to happen is not just you and your students creating amazing signs to enhance your learning space and build some new skills. But what we really want to have happen with these, we want your students to document their learning. And so there's a project link where the kids will showcase how they built and created their signs. I don't care how simple it is. We want as many different guides available because we've got something even bigger on the horizon called Making a Difference. M-A-K-E is capitalized. And we're going to be going global, working to create compassion making. And part of this big project happening in October is this crowdsourced notebook, this big binder that we can empower students from all over the world, no matter their schooling, their level, the materials they have, to go out and create and make. And we're going to have this global maker project recipe book, essentially. And in there, kids are going to start to showcase what the learning's all about. And so this, hopefully, is a project to get your school year off on the right foot, getting student voice engaged into your space, making some amazing products and things that you can hang up in your school and in your classroom. You can rotate those throughout the years. You can enhance them and build them. And so we need lots of pictures. We need lots of video. We want your kids documenting the process so we can share that so other students from all over the world can learn from them. And in the end, we're going to have this huge library of signs that could be very inspiring throughout the month of September. And then we can start to form these relationships and partnerships. So guys, there's the video. I hope you're excited. I hope this gets you jump started in your space. It starts to allow you to get some kids introduced to tools, allows you to get kids introduced to the routines and safety as opposed to doing like a sit and get. You can start with the sign and start to have them practice what the expectations of the space are. If you have any questions, reach out. Make sure you use the Full Stack Slack Community Learner channel that we have. There is where we want you coming together. We want you posting pictures in progress. We want to see what your space looks like. We want you asking questions. We want to collaborate. The more we share, the more we can be inspired and help our students, as well as ourselves, get better at making. Because we know that purposeful play connects to the emotion, it connects learning, and these are the skills, the thinking, the prototyping, and making our ideas come out from our brain to the real world being essential. And the most important piece, which is really where the compassion making project is going to be, acquiring knowledge so we can give back. Alright guys, this is Coffee Chug. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think. I'm so excited for you to get this in your hands, and I can't wait to see what we develop. And finally, I'll tell you, I will make a very shortened version, a little project launch video. I'll keep this linked as well in the project guide for your students in case you need me to kind of kick off this project. Alright guys, stay awesome and keep making.